Were you confrontational in court?
Yes.
And you knew that this wasn't a custody issue. You knew that your parental rights had been terminated, correct?
By word of mouth. I've never signed a piece of paper or seen one.
You never saw the finding that by clear and convincing evidence, the court had found that you had been neglectful of your children and sexually molested your children, and that by a finding of clear and convincing evidence that the court had deemed that that had occurred, and as a result, your parental rights had been terminated forevermore.
Yes, after this court case, this last recent court case with the new child, yes.
That was the first time you read that?
That was the first time I read those.
Were you there when they had that finding of the original court?
Nope.
You didn't show up when they were making an adjudication on your right as a parent for your 4 children?
I was at 145 miles an hour heading back. My lawyer called me and said, they've already taken your rights. They switched the court date on me.
So you didn't, you weren't there when they were adjudicating your rights as a parent?
I was out of town. What the court date was not supposed to be for another 3 days.
Were you shocked in the hospital when they came in and said you had to leave?
Yes.
So they never told you that if you had another baby, that it would be taken away?
No.
They didn't tell you that you were not eligible to have children?
They have never told me that I couldn't have a child with another woman, that I would lose my rights automatically. They never said anything in paperwork or anything, so.
Because in the paperwork, it says that you were instructed that you were not eligible as a parent because you hadn't done the remedial work that if you had another child, that you would be barred from having that child.
They kept that paperwork from me. I tried to get it when I was getting a divorce with my ex-wife, and it didn't exist then.
You spent 136 days in jail for writing a bad check.
Yes, sir.
But you said you didn't write that bad check.
Yeah, I wrote it. I wrote what I said.
You told us you didn't write it. You said somebody else wrote it on your account.
Right. They wrote it on my account while I was in jail.
For something else?
Yeah.
What were you in for then?
No, it was for fraudulent schemes, what it was, for writing bad checks. And he wrote it, or my friend wrote a bad check while I was incarcerated, so. They said that we know you didn't write this one, so you're out of here.
What'd you do 136 days for?
For writing a bad check, but it wasn't for the amount that they initially charged me with.
But did you do 136 days for a check you didn't write?
Yes.
It was for one somebody else wrote?
Yes.
So you did 136 days for a crime you didn't commit, and you had your rights to your children terminated for molestation you didn't do.
I know I never touched my children sexually, never involved in anything that had to do with that. And
did you attack her in front of a mirror and choke her to unconsciousness while she watched?
No, there was no unconsciousness.